Today we'll be making a video on the Kanjo SJ based on the Honda Civic Coupe, produced between 1995 to 2000. It's more specifically the 5th gen model, which is pretty cool to see here. But with that stuff out of the way, this features a lot of customization. Uh, as I'll show you in a bit, you really have a lot to do with the bumpers and the splitters. They kind of mix together, as I'll show you in a bit once I get there. And it might take a little while for me to get there because the customization here is a lot, you know. But you really have a fine selection here to work with regardless. Some of the stuff really fits the styling for the time period and the popularity this car had with tuners at the time. Maybe not so much now, but in the 2000s, this was quite popular to tune, along with other Honda and Toyota models. But as some of you guys know me, I'm not really a big fan of these crazy modifications, so I'm just gonna keep it subtle here. It's still gonna be a bit of a serious and well done tuner, but it's not gonna be too extreme here. These air filter options look good, but I don't know. I feel like they cost too much, and the stock one already looks good. I could be wrong, and the second option is probably a lot more accurate to what people would do, or maybe how it looks out of the factory. But I might as well just leave the stock one. For the engine cover, you can color that, you can add some liveries to that, but I'm just gonna leave it stock. I love how it looks stock. For the struts, these are quite expensive too, but you know what? I mean, they're good. Um, these struts here have been reused in other vehicles before customization. However, they're still pretty good, as I said. There's nothing wrong with that. I feel like they're just still a bit too expensive here, but I'm sure money's no object for most of you. I'm just gonna go with the second option here. For the exhaust, these exhaust options are great. Um, they're alright. It would have been cool if there was like maybe a dual exhaust. I know some of you like the dual exhaust options, but for me personally, I'm already satisfied um, with the chrome tuner exhausts. Most of these cars really didn't come stock with a dual exhaust or other type of styles, so it's alright. For the fenders here, these fenders are pretty nice. It's kind of like a body kit here. How it, those little changes right there. It's kind of hard for me to explain. That indentation, as you can see right there, it kind of reminds me of what Porsche would do with a GT3 and other of their racing models. Kind of funny to see. You can put some hood catches on this, like a muscle car or a drag car. To me, I find that kind of funny, so I'm not gonna put that on. You can add a bit of a grille here. I believe this was available for the later Honda Civic facelift, probably in the mid 90s in 1997. You also have other HUD options here, your secondary, your primary, your carbon. And you could even expose the hood a little bit. Maybe add a glass there. What I want to do with this is make it carbon. I might as well put a vent on this. But I mean, I'm not sure yet what fits on this car. I'm trying not to take too much of your time because, as I said, there's a lot of customization for me to go through. So if I go back and forth too much, well, it would be a long video, and I do not want to do that. So I'm just gonna go with what I went for here. For the interior, you really could, change it up, make it different. You have a bit of a NOS right there. There's a fuel cell in the back in the third option. I really like how you can strip the interior out. My other Dinka or Kanjo SJ model really does not have a stripped out interior. It's more of a civilian spec. So with this, since I have this and I'm making a video on this one, I might as well just, make it more of a tuner build or a car enthusiast type of car. For the doors here, you could strip it out, make it more of a stripped out interior. Me personally, I'm not sure if I want to do that. And also want to mention that these uh, door options are available on other tuner cars and other later vehicles. So these options really aren't unique to this car. Um, but regardless, they still fit the car depending on what you're trying to do. I'd say it would be a good idea to fit this car to add some of that customization, but for me personally, I just prefer some of the stock parts on there. And the seats here are decent. Again, these parts have been seen in other vehicles, meaning that it's available as customization, for other DLC cars. But I want to do something different since the stock seats really do not look so good. But again, I'm just trying to figure out what, you know. And I'm trying to be a little bit timely here for you guys because, you know, I don't want to bore you. I don't want to keep you here too long while I figure out what I'm doing here. Alright. I feel like that one fits it somewhat well. For the liveries, these liveries are very well done. As you can see right here, the first option here is very simple, but it's very well done. Here, you have a grocery list or a grocery list livery, which is pretty nice in white and black. I don't know what this one is a reference to, but it's cool. This one as well, I love this livery. I'm not sure if I should go with it because it's unique. It kind of looks like one of those cartoon cars. I just like it. Then you have your other, race inspired liveries. Most of these are very decent. Then you have your Japanese livery right here. But yeah, for this car, I kind of feel like putting on a livery, so I might as well go for the grocery list. But honestly, I love the way this one looks. It's just different. It's unique. There's only a few cars in the game with that type of livery, but I might as well just settle for the grocery list for now. For the mirrors, you have a decent selection here. However, they look very strange. They look very bulky. This option kind of works with what I'm gonna go for, but because it's a lot slimmer. But again, the styling is just very weird on this. What do you guys think? Should I do this in carbon, you know, with the tuner mirrors? I don't know. I feel like they just look weird, but it kind of fits with what I'm going for, so I might as well just go with it. Maybe it'll grow on me. I don't know. For this, I definitely want to do a red. So I'm just gonna go with a simple red, maybe. Maybe something darker. I don't want it to be too light or bright, so let's just go for a regular red. But hold on, let me go. Alright, a red is fine too. For the secondary, it only changes the calipers, so it makes them red, as well if you want to make it red. And it also changes the color in the underneath the hood, uh, or the engine bay. Anyway, here for the roll cages here, these options are pretty good. I'm not really the type of person that puts roll cages, but since the build that I'm going for is a bit serious, I might as well just put on a racer roll cage, something not too expensive, not too flashy, just a regular roll cage here. And I feel like it works. It would have been better if it was like a secondary. Maybe I should have made it a black or something, but it's alright. Here you have some of these spoilers, roof spoilers. They're decent. I mean, it's all about what type of build you're gonna go for. If you use my videos as a reference or as inspiration, that's pretty cool. But the purpose of my video is just to show you the customization and what you could do with your car. Uh, if you haven't settled for anything or you haven't got this car yet, that's the point of my videos for you to just like look through. You know what I'm going through here in the customization selection. And not just that, it's more of me just documenting my builds and my collection, which I'll get to later. But with that uh, quick, uh, quick ramble out of the way, the skirts here are pretty decent. Most of them are very, what's the word I'm trying to look for? Most of these are very subtle, which is good. You definitely don't want anything too crazy, unless you're going for like a Fast and Furious type of build. I mean, you could still do that, but it's nothing too, tacky. So what I'm gonna do with this is might as well just leave it as a primary. I'm gonna do the same here in the front. Maybe I should add an extension, but I don't know. Maybe not. But here are the rest of the options here. Pretty solid. If you want to capture that 2000s, late 90s tuner type of style, you could do this quite easily with this car, which is pretty nice. There's quite examples out there on the internet of people doing that in Japan, in the United States, mostly in California. Maybe people in New York did this. I don't know, but this was pretty common. Pretty seen among enthusiasts in Japan. This type of style car that I'm doing here. But here, the spoilers are pretty cool. I really like the ducktail. I might go with a ducktail in a bit, but the track spoiler here is cool. It adds a bit of a third brake light. However, the third brake light does not work, which is unfortunate, but that's alright. You have some other spoilers here. It adds a bit of a livery on the side, which is pretty nice. These spoilers are still pretty decent, but with what I'm going for, I don't know, I feel like it should be a lot more subtle. Nothing too big. So I might as well just go for a ducktail, but a lot of these are very nice to look at regardless. So just a carbon ducktail. You have your sun strips here. I don't know if I should put a sun strip on or not. But you know what? I mean, might as well. It kind of fits the build. So I chose the secondary by accident, but I'm just going to change it to primary. Just put on. Put that on. For the suspension, you can get this very low. The lower you get, the more camber it gets, which I really don't like. You could kind of tell right there. It looks kind of funny, like it's squatting. I think I'm just gonna leave it off for now, the suspension option. For the wheels, this part was pretty cool because you really have a lot to work with, and there's a lot of wheel modifications or selections dedicated to this car. So one that I like on this car so much is this one right here, and it's even called the EG, the Stanced EG. That's a reference to the Honda Civics of this era, which were called EGs and other stuff like that. Or I could be wrong because EG was more of a code name for the hatchback version of this car, which is pretty cool. So I might as well just put one of those on. But here are all the other wheel selections that really fit a tuner car like this. And here in the bottom, in the streets category, there's another wheel that I like on this, and that would be called the Speed Boy. It just fits these 90s style builds very well. But I'm gonna go with what I went for. That's how tire lettering looks on there if you like that. But I'm just gonna leave it off. All that's left for me to do here is just tint the windows or show you the window tint. And then once I'm done here, I'm just gonna get out of the garage and I'm gonna give you a closer look at the interior, the engine model, and then discuss the performance. The detail and texture quality here is great. There are some bits on the bottom that are 2D and low quality, but that's not a big deal. It's okay. The interior model is pretty well done as well. Some bits of it have been reused and are low quality, but again, it's not really a big deal. Some of the aftermarket parts in here make up for it. With the seats, the fuel cell in the back, as you can see, that's cool. The trunk even has some struts and it has some of that uh, weather protection there on the side, which is pretty nice to see. Some of that rubber. Most of these cars are kind of floating and they don't have those struts holding it up. Speed is decent and as well, and handling is decent as well. You know, you kind of get what you expect here. It's not too fast. It's not difficult to control. You really do feel the power in the front wheels. Just going through it since this is a front wheel drive car, but it's not a big deal. It still handles pretty well. I wouldn't tell you to expect to win races with this car unless you're very skilled and you've been playing this game for many years. I just prevented a collision right there. So that kind of proves my point. It's not too bad in the handling department. However, it's still decent if you're going on a track, uh, doing many turns, going in a straight line. You'll still have many vehicles in the coupes class that would win over you, but it's still a good car for free. If you don't, if you didn't win this car and you want to buy it, it costs about $1 million to 1.3 million, which is a lot of money. So I suggest that you try to win this car. But anyway, that's all I got for today. And as always, thanks for watching.